friends. Today we are talking about our June chapter book for the Global Children's Book Club, Juana and Lucas. We are doing our family book chat for it, and we really loved it, so we're excited to talk about it today, and we hope it gives you some ideas for discussion in your family as well. All right, so what did you guys think of the book?
It was really funny.
Really funny, yeah. What was funny about it?
Well, like when she said, Lucas is the only cure for a horrible day.
Yeah.
And when she also was like, English is weird.
Oh yeah, except for at the beginning she called it the English, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember why she called it the English?
Because in some languages, that's how they talk.
Yeah, like in Spanish, you have a definite article in front of the name of the language, right? So yeah, it was humorous to us, but also interesting to learn that different people are coming from different perspectives and how they're learning languages, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had anything go wrong in your day like Juana did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are some things that might go wrong in your day?
Like if you're supposed to have a play date and like go to a theme park, but then first your friend gets sick and then the theme park closes.
Oh yeah, maybe your friend gets sick, maybe the theme park closes, maybe COVID-19 happens and all the theme parks are closed. So yeah, those are all things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And how does it make you feel?
Sad.
Yeah, maybe sad, maybe mad, frustrated, and we can all react differently to it, right? So how did Juana react to the things that went wrong? How do you think she felt?
Mom, I had a horrible day.
Okay, so she felt, I think, a little frustrated, and she communicated that, right? That was a response she had. And communication can often help us understand our feelings or process our feelings, right? So that was good that she talked about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
What else did she do? Or what do you think she could have done? What would be helpful for you?
She asked people if she should have to learn the English.
Oh, yeah, she got feedback from other people to help resolve her dilemma. Yeah, that was good. Have you guys ever tried to learn a new language? Yeah, what language have you guys tried to learn?
Portuguese.
Kannada, which is an Indian language. Portuguese.
Well, French.
French. Okay, so you guys are all learning a little bit of different languages, right?
I know Dad has.
And is it easy or is it hard?
Hard if you grew up speaking another one.
Yeah,
Like
if you haven't grown up speaking it, it's difficult, right?
Yeah. Like, didn't you grow up speaking Kannada?
I did, yeah. And actually, when I went to preschool when I was 3, I actually didn't know how to speak any English.
Oh, and you said your mom had to write down a list of Kannada words and what they mean.
Yeah, exactly. She wrote down a list of Kannada words with their English translation, but my teacher didn't know anything about Kannada, so it was even hard for her when I would say a word to know which one I was saying and what the translation was. So it was kind of tricky. And it's hard for us when we learn other languages, right? Like even she was having trouble pronouncing certain things in English, right? Like the th sound, which seems so easy to us, right? Like think or thought or thimble, or, you know, we have lots of the sounds. But remember when we were reading the book, we tried to say the word perro. Can you guys say that? Perro. Yeah, you guys have gotten better at it, right? Practice. But it's hard, right? It's hard to roll your R. It's hard to make certain sounds in other languages, right? And I know Kannada has a lot of really different sounds that are hard to pronounce. Portuguese does. French does. It has kind of that guttural R almost. Those are all difficult sounds to make, right? So it kind of helps you have empathy for people who are learning our language, right? Do you know what empathy is?
Like you feel bad for them.
Well, so sympathy is where you just feel sad for someone. Empathy is where you actually understand what it's like because you've been in that hard situation too. So that can help us have empathy when we have tried to do hard things too, right? Yeah. Do you ever feel uncomfortable trying things that are new or difficult?
Sometimes foods.
Yeah, maybe sometimes foods. Yeah, new foods can be kind of a little concerning to try. What about if something's just hard? Do you always want to do hard things? You do? Sometimes. What about when there's a difficult violin passage? Do you want to go really slowly to learn it?
Nope.
Nope.
You don't
or work on a hard passage in cello, right? Those are all hard things because you have to slow down, you have to work hard. It's maybe not the most fun right away, right?
Yeah.
Can make you feel uncomfortable. Again, that can be empathy building, so we can understand what it's like for other people doing hard things. One thing I thought was really interesting in the book, well, a couple of things. One was that there were a lot of Spanish words that were woven into the English, so that was kind of cool. And another thing was there were a lot of places where the way the words were written, the shape of them mirrored what was happening. Like here, for instance, says, "It looks as if the city is wrapped in a blanket of stars." And this almost looks like a blanket, right? So that's kind of cool, the way the words actually mirror, or the illustrations actually mirror the actual words, which I thought was pretty cool. And then the first thing I'd mention was it has a lot of Spanish words woven into the text, right? So how did you guys figure out what the Spanish words meant?
How they sound like our words.
Oh, how they sound like English words, you mean?
Like deteste is
Detest, right? Okay, so sometimes the words sound similar.
Oh, and her mom said, "You're too young to be detesting things yet." And
true.
she said and then she said, "Fine, then I hate it more than I could detest anything."
I know, she was pretty sassy, huh? So what were other ways that you figured out what the Spanish words meant?
What Dad helped us with text.
Okay, so you asked. You could ask questions about what things mean.
Text.
Oh, okay,
Like,
what about the text?
What around it, like.
Ah, good. So the words around it helped you figure out what that word meant. So that's called context clues. Okay, can you guys say that? Context clues?
Context clues.
Yeah, so context is what's going on around it. That's a context. So when you have the context, it helps you understand the meaning of one word. So even if you don't know what one word means, you can kind of figure it out based on the other words. Have you ever done that in English before? Yeah? Yeah, like do you ever encounter new words in books that you're reading? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you ever hear new words in books you're reading? Yeah. In fact, you should be. If the book is challenging you a little bit, you'll probably encounter quite a few new words, right? And that's great, so you can learn new vocabulary. And one way that we figure out what those words mean is through those same context clues. So we do that in English as well as Spanish, which is why this was such a cool way of helping you learn those words. It helps you remember them when it's not just isolated, because it's hard to remember things when someone just says, you know, like perro means dog, but if you're reading, and then my perro Lucas climbed on my lap and then ran and fetched a ball, it kind of triggers in your mind. It helps your mind remember and create those associations. It connects it to other things. So context clues are a great way to learn vocabulary, both in your own language as well as in other languages. So I encourage you guys to look for context clues when you're talking to other people, when you're reading other books, whether or not it's in your language. Okay? I wanted to talk a little bit about family traditions. What were some family traditions that Juana had?
She liked to She liked reading.
Okay, she liked reading. Yeah.
She liked to go to her grandparents' house.
Oh yeah, she liked to go to her grandparents' house. Yeah, and she would sit with them and chat and have a snack, right? That was kind of fun.
Her grandpa, he and Juana were the only ones who knew where his special chocolate jar was.
And he'd always share with her. That was fun, right? Do you guys have any traditions like that with grandparents? Or do you have any grandparents that sneak you candy ever?
Yeah, Mama always does.
No,
Mama always takes the candy from the basement and takes it in her purse and brings it.
So that's one way you're kind of similar to Juana, right? Sometimes you get sneaked candy. And you have maybe some of those same traditions with extended family members, like going to their house, spending time with them. And there can be lots of different kind of family traditions, right? It can be as simple as reading books outside, or it can be something like giving a hug before bed. Those are all simple, great traditions too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, Juana describes some special people in her life. So, like, throughout the book, she gives almost like a little profile of different people that are important to her in her life, right?
Her aunt.
Her aunt, she talked about. Lucas, she talked about. Her grandfather, right? There are different people. Her friend Julie. There are different people she profiled. So who are some important people in your lives, and what do you like about them? Or what would you say if you were writing a little profile like that about them? How would you describe them? What would you say about them? Who's someone important in your life?
I'd say my friend Simon is always doing origami.
Oh, okay. So you describe him as doing origami. Cool.
I'd say Emer likes to square a lot.
Oh, okay. So your friend likes to square. So you might describe them by their interests. Yeah. Who is someone who is important to you? Could be a friend or a family member or just someone you know. Will, okay. How would you describe him? Would you talk about something he likes or what he looks like?
Well, he likes.
What he likes. Okay, so what would you say? What is something he likes?
Playing.
Playing, okay. Where is somewhere that you've gone with him?
Yosemite.
Yosemite. Maybe you'd say he likes Yosemite or likes camping, right? Cool. So those are some things we might do to describe people. We might describe their interests, how they look. What are other things you could describe about a person?
Their personality.
Oh, their personality, like if they're funny or quiet or really smart. Maybe you could describe their family. Or their house. Or where you like to hang out with them.
You could describe where you've gone with them.
Yeah, you could if you've gone on an activity with them or go to school with them. Those are all good descriptors. So some descriptors that we can remember are who, what, when, where, why, and also how. So maybe how you know them, what they like to do, who they are in relation to you or in relation to other people, where you like to go with them. Those are all good descriptive things that you guys can remember as you're writing on your own, right? If you're doing fiction writing or nonfiction writing, you can consider those descriptors to help make your writing more interesting, right? Because it's really fun learning little bits and pieces about people, right? It makes it kind of come to life. So you can add in those descriptors also. Do you guys have any other thoughts or questions about the book? Anything you liked or didn't like?
No. It's funny when she's like, and when a grown-up said something is going to be fun, it will be nada de fun. It means it will be no fun at all.
No fun at all.
Nada de fun.
Nada de fun. I know that was a funny part, huh? So, on a scale of 1 to 5, how many stars would you give this book?
5.
5, yeah?
5.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. And I'm curious for how many stars you guys would give it too, so feel free to share over on Instagram. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of it, and if you have any commentary or questions as well. Thanks so much for joining and for reading along with us.